For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. Those are the words that echoed across our nation when Amanda Gorman, National Youth Poet Laureate, recited her poem, The Hill We Climb, at this year's presidential inauguration. But those weren't her only words that pierced my spirit. She also said, "We will rebuild, reconcile, and recover." The wisdom of this 22-year-old couldn't be more fitting for such a time as this. I believe Erie County is adequately positioned to rebuild, reconcile, and recover from all of the challenges the COVID-19 pandemic presented. Our mission is to provide a safe, healthy, and vibrant environment for our residents while promoting justice and equity in the community we serve. Never before has this mission been more tested and validated than it was in 2020, as county government led the efforts of fighting the pandemic. Never before has it been more evident how critical our health and safety are to our economy, our relationships, and our ability to thrive. And never before have we been confronted with more complicated, quickly changing, and unprecedented circumstances. Lost lives, lost jobs, lost businesses, and a loss of the world as we had known it. With a lack of federal leadership, state and local governments were often left to find solutions for themselves. And your Erie County government rose to the challenge with professionalism, integrity, and purpose. Every step of the way, we thoughtfully considered ways to collaboratively rebuild, reconcile, and recover while working to protect the health and safety of all of our residents. As I look at the state of our county, I must applaud the efforts of county government employees and elected county government officials. I need to specifically acknowledge the leadership of the Erie County Department of Health. Since early 2020, the team at ECDH began strategizing about the approach to dealing with this terrible virus. The extraordinary efforts and cooperation among all divisions of the Erie County Department of Health, the emergency management team at the Erie County Department of Public Safety, the Erie County Department of Human Services, and all other county departments was unprecedented. I must applaud the efforts of our many local partners, community leaders, businesses, healthcare systems, educational institutions, and all levels of government who came together in a collective boots-on-the-ground approach to create swift contingencies, overall efficiencies, and truly innovative operations. And I must applaud all the residents of Erie County, brave, courageous citizens who have made multiple sacrifices and accommodations to keep their loved ones, their coworkers, and their fellow residents safe during this pandemic. The resilience and adaptability of the people of Erie County to the ever-changing safety protocols is nothing short of remarkable. Because of this united Herculean effort, Erie County did not experience a high level of disease incidence for COVID-19 until late fall 2020, and many lives were spared. The COVID-19 pandemic continues to dominate, though, our economy, our daily lives, and our personal lives. Yet I remain confident in you, the people of Erie County, to continue to support every effort to keep each other safe and to restore our economy over this coming year. High on our list of priorities is reconciling with the inequities that COVID-19 has magnified in Erie County. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed multiple disparities, most glaring in health. This realization led to the county declaring racism a public health crisis. Erie County is committing resources to address racism by improving access to health care, safe and affordable housing, broadband, as well as good-paying jobs, business ownership, and education for all residents. Following the passage of the racism resolution, the Erie County Public Library initiated diversity audits amongst its collections, created a companion reading list, and launched an Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee to investigate and advise ways that the library can become both inclusive and representative of the communities that we serve. And other county departments are beginning similar efforts. We also work to reconcile inequities by improving technology and access to it. Ensuring critical COVID-19 documents and videos were translated into different languages, holding focus groups with underserved populations, and adding an interpreter to our COVID-19 press briefings are a few actions that we have taken to ensure we are informing and engaging all residents of Erie County. Erie County IT expanded the reach of free Wi-Fi networks in all of our Erie County Public Library locations to increase accessibility to the internet for all Erie County residents, which has become a vital means this year for learning, studying, working, and connecting. Over 6,000 people are accessing this service monthly. The library also launched its brand new bookmobile, expanding library services like Wi-Fi, computer access, and collection delivery throughout the county. The bookmobile reaches residents who have barriers prohibiting them from patronizing our branch locations. And the Erie County IT team also moved quickly to enable remote work capabilities for many county employees when the pandemic hit, which allowed county government to continue to serve you, our residents. The newly revamped county website, eriecountypa.gov, which is now ADA compliant, improving access for all with a disability, was the perfect tool to communicate with county residents about the pandemic, and now is a robust resource for everything related to COVID-19 and beyond. Even Erie County Prison has embraced technology in a more robust way. Virtual visitation kiosks on all housing units allow inmates to maintain connection with their loved ones. Court hearings are held virtually in most cases, and telepsych visits help address the mental health concerns for inmates. In line with improvements made at the jail, a celebrated accomplishment in 2020 was the grand opening of the Erie County Community Resource Center in July by former President Judge John Trisilla in conjunction with adult probation and parole departments. This day report center will reduce recidivism and help sentenced individuals find a path to becoming a productive citizen. We will reconcile. Against the backdrop of the seemingly insurmountable challenges of the pandemic, the county has continued to innovate, collaborate, and move forward. County government led the state of Pennsylvania in receiving 5 National Association of County Achievement Awards for county programs and services. And the 7th summer of the annual Summer Jobs and More program went off successfully, with 89 youth across the county participating in a job experience provided by the over 30 employers who offered that opportunity. In keeping with our role in leading the pandemic, the health department provided a COVID-19 safety training to those youth. Recently, the county contributed significant funds to the Erie Regional Chamber and Growth Partnership's Erie Forward initiative and the Erie County Redevelopment Authority's Diversity Loan Program. And these initiatives will help reconcile and rebuild our economy and assist our small businesses. And one of the most monumental events of 2020 was the Pennsylvania State Board of Education's approval of the establishment of the Erie County Community College. This would not have been possible without the support from local business owners, community leaders, volunteers, educators, and particularly Empower Erie. This institution, once open, will greatly improve access to higher education for all county residents, reconciling the educational inequities experienced by our community for decades and paving the way to help us rebuild. Beyond the big headlines of 2020, county government has remained engaged and committed to rebuild. We were able to provide crucial resources to the community in a swift, transparent, and compassionate manner with the CARES Act funding that was allocated through our municipal reimbursement program, the nonprofit assistant grant program, the small business grant program, and the PPE for small business program, as well as a COVID-19 emergency business grant. In all, this assistance amounted to approximately $15 million. Another way we provided resources is through the data center in the Erie County Department of Planning and Community Development. These county employees continue to expand their work, supporting our 38 municipalities as well as our economic development ecosystem. The data center worked to redevelop Erie vital signs with the Erie Community Foundation, and they are working to make sure the economic development partners, nonprofits, and local businesses have the information they need as we come out of this pandemic, allowing them to continue the implementation of all the great plans in place. Plans like Emerge 2040, Erie Refocused, Albion's Comprehensive Plan, Impact Corey Plan, Embrace Mill Creek, and so many others. When we look at the path to rebuild, it is imperative that we shine a spotlight on public health. We must find a way to invest in our local health department infrastructure. It must be transformed to support 21st century public health services. We have witnessed the benefits of cross-sector collaboration and actions that directly affect the social determinants of health. But we have also witnessed the startling gaps. We need to accelerate the process of improving access to healthy living conditions for all people. This is not only a public health issue, it is an economic issue and an equity issue. We will rebuild. As we look forward to 2021, we do it with all the knowledge, creativity, and newfound inner strength we have built in 2020. When I announced that I would not run for a third term, I committed to keeping my foot on the gas until I have served my very last moment of my term. If the work my administration has been able to accomplish in the 7 years that I have been your county executive is any indication, there is no limit to what we can still accomplish this year. First, we're going to continue to work to put an end to this pandemic as quickly as possible, collaborating with our federal, state, and local partners to get the vaccine into the arms of all residents who want it. I am confident we will continue to pull together as a community to keep each other safe and to come out even better on the other side. We will recover by working to make sure everyone has equal access to resources that will lead to better health, educational opportunities, and technology necessary for today's economy. Now that the Erie County Park, Trails, and Rec Plan has been completed, the work will begin to ensure access to recreational opportunities for every resident and visitor, improving public health through recreation and strategically investing in Erie County's unique assets and events. We will continue to seek new opportunities for our county, whether expansion of the Blue Zone project beyond Corey, a national marine sanctuary designation for the waters of Lake Erie, or a completed Erie to Pittsburgh Trail Plan. My administration will continue to support the efforts of the Board of Trustees at the Erie County Community College, and we all look forward to the first classes starting in the fall of 2021. The Erie County Community College is positioned to set a precedent for all educational institutions. It can launch with innovation for tomorrow, preparing its students with the latest technology and training. It should be obvious to all that our goal is to come out of this pandemic with strong optimism and a direction for this great place we call home. We will recover. With the unprecedented obstructions to progress in 2020, and there were so many, the residents of Erie County worked to create opportunity and innovate against all odds. Against all odds, we made progress, and I am confident we will see much more of that progress in 2021. I hope you will all continue to partner with us to help eradicate this virus, and I hope you see this as an opportunity to be an active participant in Erie County's return to growth and a thriving economy. If we do this work, if we rebuild, reconcile, and recover, we will see and be the light. We will be a model county known for its vibrant, healthy residents, its flourishing, inclusive economy, the resilience of its natural and built environments, a quality of life that attracts visitors and businesses while engaging its citizens, and its efficient, innovative, and transparent government. If only we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it. Thank you. And I'd now like to turn to the media for questions. And we're going to start with WQON, Tracy Tudup, to give us a question from the public. Tracy?
Kathy, the community is asking, do Erie County officials have a pre-plan to confront any radical group or groups who choose to assemble and destroy any government property like they did in Washington, D.C.?
That is a very good question, especially as there's a lot of unsettled, people are unsettled right now because of what's most recently happened in our nation's capital and beyond. And what I say about Erie County is we have a great collaborative spirit. And so our law enforcement, whether it be our municipal police departments, the Erie County sheriffs and detectives, the state police, even the police departments in our local universities, are all working together. They have great communication with each other, and also in conjunction with the public safety department at the county, I believe we will be able to handle anything like that might happen, but let's all hope and pray that Erie County continues to be a place where we come together in a peaceful way.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next, I'd like to go to Erie News Now. Do we have any questions from Erie News Now? Let's go on to Jet TV. Do we have any questions from Jet TV?
Hi, Kathy. I know the county has worked closely with local hospitals and other facilities to plan for vaccine distribution. When we consider the last month, what is needed to expedite the vaccination process, especially for those most vulnerable?
What is needed to expedite the vaccination process is actually more supply. Unfortunately, the state is only getting about 143 doses a week. That has to cover the entire state except for the city of Philadelphia, which gets their direct vaccine from the federal government. And so we have providers in Erie County who could give more vaccine. We could quickly set up a vaccination clinic, but we don't have enough supply to do that at this point. So I know the new administration is working on improving that supply, not only for the state of Pennsylvania, but for the entire country. And once that new supply in greater amounts come into our region, we are ready to get the most vulnerable in this community vaccinated as quickly as possible. Erie Times News, do you have a question?
Hi, Kathy. It's Matt Rink. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Matt. Thank you.
Oh, okay, great. Governor Tom Wolf is going to be presenting his new budget on Tuesday. Obviously, one of the things you're going to be looking at is community college funding, but what are some of the other things that you'll be focused on as the governor presents that new budget?
Well, obviously, we are very much interested in seeing funding for the Erie County Community College in that budget, which was not placed in the previous budget. But beyond that, we need to see more funding for public health. I think we've all seen the devastation of this state really poorly funding public health for decades. Many administrations, many legislative bodies have really decimated public health in this Commonwealth. And when you look at other states and the amount of money that they have actually put into public health, it is a shame. And it's why we have some of the issues we do in Pennsylvania right now. So I think that is an area we are very hopeful there will be additional funding in. And then, of course, there's so many of the other issues that we know are going to, we would like to at least see level funding, I guess, in the Department of Human Services, because we know that there's a lot of carryover from the pandemic to those issues, whether they be the additional issues of mental health, the issues of drug addiction, alcohol addiction, or the issues around our children's safety. And so we need to make sure that those current programs are adequately funded to deal with the aftermath of this pandemic, which continues to grow. Thank you, Matt. And now we'll move.
Thank you.
I'm going to see if Erie News Now is back, if they're with us or not. Okay, we'll move on to Talk Erie. Joel, are you with us?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, County Executive. You know, throughout your administration, you've talked about the need for more access to broadband internet throughout the county. What specific successes can you point to in 2020 that moved that initiative forward?
So one of the things we were able to do with CARES money was actually to put some of that money towards broadband. We had a very, very tight time frame to do this, and as we all know, these projects are projects that can sometimes take years, and it was one of the big complaints that we heard, not only from myself, but from people in other counties, that we didn't have enough time for that investment. But I have to give kudos to the townships and to one of our local businesses, VNet, who actually were able to step up, and we were able to fund a really great project in Northeast, another great project in Summit, and we were able to fund high-speed internet going into some of our senior citizen living apartment buildings that is under the Erie Housing Authority, as well as high-speed internet into the 3 neighborhood centers within the city of Erie. So we didn't do as much as we had hoped we could do because, of course, there wasn't enough time, but I think we made a dent in this huge issue that we have in Erie County.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll go back to Tracy from WQLN.
Again, Kathy, this question is from the public. Many people are hopeful to get that vaccination, and some are frustrated trying to find it. How will people be contacted when it is available here?
Once we know that we have more vaccine available, we will certainly do as much media blitz as we can to get the information out to people. And their physicians would also be aware of that. So we will use every media source that we can, traditional and social media and print and TV and radio. So we will work very hard to get that information out to every citizen. And we will use the networks too, because there are some populations maybe who aren't even connected into our more traditional media sources. So we will use, for example, church groups, maybe the head of the African American Concerned Clergy, and to get that into their churches, for an example. We will use our other government officials, so our borough and our township and our city officials, to get the information out to the people that reside in their communities. Well, Jet TV?
You had mentioned the county's emphasis on public health earlier. Is there money currently being allocated towards public health? Where can we expect to see funds coming from?
So we have, of course, our budget was passed, and unfortunately, County Council chose to cut the budget of every single department in county government. So they did cut some money out of the County Department of Health, and that's what I'm saying is locally and statewide and federally, we have not funded public health to the extent to which it should be funded. I feel confident this year where we are with our public health department because they did receive a large, significant amount of money, over $8 million, through the initial federal stimulus plan. And we have that money to fall back on this year. But as we go forward, whoever's the next county executive and county council, they need to be looking at what we need to do locally, but we need that money to also be coming from the Commonwealth, from the state budget, and that's up to the legislature on the state level to do that. Back to Matt at Erie Times News.
Yeah, Kathy, could you address just the financial standing of county government right now, and how much of a concern for you is that heading into further into 2021 with the pandemic still ongoing?
So one of the things that no one likes is property taxes. But one of the things that we found out through this pandemic is those states who actually rely more on property taxes are actually finding local government is in a better position than states who have turned to more of a sales tax to fund local government. Because we don't receive any money from sales tax, and with sales being down in all categories, that hasn't affected our budget. And we really aren't seeing a huge drop in those who are paying or those who are not paying their property taxes. So our income coming in is not too far below what we have predicted. So we have a pretty good financial situation right now. Of course, for many years, we've done a very good job fiscally, and we have a very strong reserve fund that will carry us through many months if we run into some further problems down the line. And we were able to cut well over $1 million out of the budget as I presented it last year. And so we feel that we're in a good place this year. We are running things very in a very austere way, and we are making sure that we are not overspending and really watching what we do spend, because we don't know what's going to come forward in the rest of 2021 as we continue to come out of this pandemic. Talk Erie, Joel.
Just one more question, ma'am. Can you talk about the efforts to mitigate depression and despair for young people and adults from county government? For example, do you have any metrics on how many calls to the various care lines that have been set up?
I don't have that number offhand, Joel, but we have, as you know, set up these care lines. We have a local number, there's a state number, and we really encourage people to go on our website, get that number, and reach out if you are feeling anxiety, depression, any negative feeling that maybe you've never experienced before, or maybe you have and it's come back to fruition because of this pandemic. We obviously have a strong connection with our school districts, and having the kids back in school, and most schools in Erie County are either there or trying to get there, allows those students to connect again with the support system they have in their schools, whether it be their school guidance counselor, their school nurse, even their teachers and administrators. And then they can connect them back to the services that are available through the county, through our Department of Human Services. So there is already a great network. Erie County is blessed with many, many social service providers, excellent social service providers. And I just want anyone listening to know that those services are there and available. You just need to reach out. And I hope that all of our students and adults have that opportunity if they have that need. I'm going to see one more time if Erie News Now is here by chance. Okay, we'll go back to Tracy at WQLN.
Kathy, can you tell me what plan is in place, or what plans are in place to help local businesses that are struggling to survive right now as they move forward? Is some of that county funding going to help them in the end?
So we were able to push county funding out when we got the CARES Act money, and then we had the emergency grant right towards the end of the year, which was $5,000 to over 200 businesses in our region. But that is far and away not enough money to help so many businesses who are really struggling through this. The state is now putting together a package that will particularly help those in the hospitality and tourism industry, which we know is huge in our area and some of the hardest hit businesses in our community. So that money, my understanding, will come down to the counties and then be distributed out. So we do need that help coming from the state. And then, of course, President Biden is looking to have a very large stimulus package coming out of the federal government, which again is so much needed. And I hope that both of those packages do pass the legislative bodies, and then we can help get that money out to our businesses. But we do have still some opportunity in that fund. We just opened up a diversity loan fund through the Erie County Redevelopment Authority. And so it's not a lot, but it's some money to get things started, and we want to be able to assist in any way we can from county government.
Do you think moving forward, the person that steps into your shoes, that's going to be the biggest challenge that they have?
I think we're going to see businesses continue to be challenged for the rest of this year. And of course, then to get back up and going once we come out of this pandemic will require county government to do everything it can to assist those businesses.
Thank you.
And we'll quickly go back to Jet TV.
Hi, sort of on the same topic. Do we expect to see more funds being allocated? For example, in Mill Creek Township, they just approved a small business loan program. Do we see anything like that happening for businesses throughout Erie County?
So what's really great is the Erie County Redevelopment Authority has partnered first with Summit Township, now with Mill Creek, and my understanding there's 3 or 4 other communities who are also looking to create their own funds, which would be for the businesses in their particular township, and then those could be matched with other funds from other buckets of money. So it's great when a township or a municipality of any kind can come forward and find some money to assist their businesses. And Corey has a very strong program also. And we'll finish up here. Erie Times News, Matt, do you have a final question?
Sure. Could you just address, kind of off topic, but the progress that the Erie County Land Bank made in 2020 and what you what they have in store for 2021?
So the land bank has been a huge success. I think the partnership that they have with the Erie City Land Bank is phenomenal, and the funding that came from the state to assist the county land bank is being shared with the city land bank. Many properties in many of our municipalities have been torn down that were huge eyesores, and they are now looking at potentially even partnering on a commercial sites. So the land bank is a success, and I can't say enough about the people that have served on that board and have worked so well with each other. So with that, I think we're out of time. I look forward to this next year, to the progress we're going to make, and I ask all of you to be part of making Erie County the place that we all want it to be and know it can be. Be the light. Thank you.